slip in there with him. String.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Joe Malash. I'm the Superintendent of Cherry Hill Public Schools, and welcome to the November 30th edition of my online lunch. I'm thrilled today to welcome two very important men to the Cherry Hill community, Chief Tom Colby from the Cherry Hill Fire Department and our Fire Marshal, Tom Schmeely. I'm thrilled that the guys are able to be here with us today and have some conversation about fire safety and about the role that the fire department plays here in Cherry Hill. One of the greatest things that we have in our community is such a fine and strong relationship between the school district and the fire department and the police department. This is one community, and these are folks who have dedicated their lives and their careers to making sure that we are safe and that we are well taken care of. So gentlemen, welcome. Thank you for joining me for lunch. I have some snacks set out for lunch today. I don't know that we'll be eating as we go through, but you are certainly welcome to help yourself. If I get wound up too much and talk, certainly have some celery or some broccoli as we go on. So first, Chief Tom Colby and Fire Marshal Tom Schmeely, thank you for being here. So the first thing that I'd like to talk about a little bit is, can you tell us about the visits that the men and women from your department did during the month of October for Fire Safety Month?
Sure. October is Fire Safety Month, and do you know why October is?
I don't know why October is. That's a great question.
It's all about the Great Chicago Fire.
Really?
Yes, that happened on October 8th, 1871.
How about that?
So Fire Safety Month commemorates that. And did you also know that the Great Chicago Fire was not the worst fire to happen on October 8th, 1871?
No.
Yeah, there were two other fires. One fire occurred in Wisconsin. One fire occurred in Michigan that resulted in a greater loss of life and greater property damage than
All on October 8th.
All on October 8th.
That's incredible. Look, we learn every day. I am thrilled to learn from the guys from the fire department. That's good stuff.
Yeah, so during the month of October, our firefighters visit all of the kindergartens, not only the public schools, but the private schools as well.
Right. And
they deliver a age-appropriate fire safety presentation. Somebody dresses up in the protective gear so the kids can see what they look like when they're fully turned out. And that particular event concludes with the kids going out, weather permitting, to take a look at the fire truck, which is always a hit.
It is an awesome experience. I can tell you over the last few years, I've had opportunity to be at a couple of the schools when your folks are there, and just to see the looks on the kids' faces as they interact with the folks from the department, and then to be outside and to see the trucks and the apparatus that is there. It's just incredible. It's awe-inspiring for the children. It really is.
And our guys like it too.
It's a great learning tool for the kids to be able to interact with the firefighters and the EMTs too. Going back to the kindergartens goes back to when I used to be in Cherry Hill Public Schools. So we've been doing it for quite a long time.
That's incredible. It really, and I think one of the greatest parts about it is, so we have the little children, the 5th grader or the 5-year-olds and the 6-year-olds, as they're in kindergarten in that year. And we don't want the first time they see a fireman or a firewoman or an EMS, to be when there's an emergency, right? So it helps to build those relationships, and they can see them because you see fire trucks and we see the firehouses in the community, but to start to build a relationship and know who they are.
That's a good point. You want to be able to build that trust and relationship, right? Eliminate any fear.
Right. That's fantastic. So one of the things they talk about is fire safety, right? That's one of the goals, that we engage in during the course of this time, and part of what we do as educators, right, is to teach the kids. We want the kids to be able to be successful and be healthy and be able to be successful in the world around them. So as you look at through your lens with fire safety, what are some of the best ways that our students and their parents can practice fire safety in their own homes?
Well, I think when we talk about fire safety and practicing fire safety, I think the standard answer is obviously have working smoke alarms in your house, have a fire safety plan, an evacuation plan, and practice it.
Right.
But I think we want to kind of go beyond those standard responses.
Yes.
And if we kind of take a step back and take a look at the fire fires that are occurring in Cherry Hill, and look at what happens, the causes of these fires, I think we're going to find out that in the vast majority of these events that happen, there is, a certain element of human involvement,
Right.
resulting in these fires. So, we want to kind of take a look at the day-to-day activities
Mm-hmm.
that people go through and see how these impact these fires happening. And I'm not talking about fires that are intentionally set.
Sure.
I mean, they do happen, but we can be talking about smoking,
Mm-hmm.
cooking, improperly using appliances, electronic devices,
Right.
improper maintenance, poor housekeeping. All of these have been contributing factors in fires occurring not only in Cherry Hill, but across the country
Sure.
as well. So, what can you do? Obviously, if you smoke, and I'm not telling you to smoke or not to smoke, but if you
I'm going
smoke,
to tell you not to smoke. I will say that.
don't use a plastic pail
Sure.
as an ashtray.
Right.
It can burn.
Right.
If you're cooking, it's not a good time to get in your car and drive off to Wegmans to pick up a couple things. And we find that when we look at what happens, that is, not an uncommon occurrence, that people get distracted, do other things.
So Tom, it's really, especially with fire safety, it's like so many other things that you have to be intentional and focused, right? You have to make sure that when things are taking place that you're attentive to where it is. When we have children, regardless of their age, because kids are not always the most attentive, and
Right.
they may start something, or somebody turns on the stove, or if there's something going on with a grill, or if they're plugging 27 things into the same outlet and things are stacked up by it. But we really have to take that something seriously on a daily basis.
Yeah, it's true. It's not rocket science. It's about common sense. and
Common sense.
exercising
And
common
be purposeful, right?
Yes.
Talk about it. That's great. Good stuff. What would you say are the most common, and I think you alluded, Tom, a little bit to them, some of the most common fire safety mistakes that people make?
Well, the most common fire that we respond to are cooking events,
Right.
and we find that it's inattention. It's starting to actively cook something on the stove,
Right.
Get distracted.
Distracted.
getting
Something's
called
wrong.
away or making the decision to do something else.
Right.
And it's a chain of events that it doesn't happen immediately.
Right.
So that's one of the things. Properly maintaining. We had a couple significant fires recently
Yes.
involving fireplaces.
Mhm.
Even if you don't use your fireplace, especially if it's a wood-burning fireplace, even if you don't use it a lot, you should get it looked at least once a year. I mean, you could have problems with water damage that will affect the overall safety of that. So, again, it's just trying to think things through.
Right.
Smoke alarms, making sure you have smoke alarms that actually work inside your house, at a minimum one on every level,
Right.
including the basement.
Right.
So give yourself an opportunity to get out, and it also will keep damage to the minimum. If the smoke alarm goes off
Sure.
early into the event, you'll be able to go in and intervene and keep that event small.
And folks should test their smoke detectors once a month, you would say? Is that
Yeah,
Once a month is a good practice.
okay?
The other thing we like to do is we try to encourage people to put the smoke alarms inside the bedrooms also.
Okay.
Even like the fire marshal said, one on every floor, but we'd like to see them in each bedroom as well, because
Okay.
when you're asleep, some people can be sound sleepers, and
Right.
having that device there will be an early warning to
Right.
a fire.
Prevention, right?
Yeah, and we realize that this topic isn't on the forefront, isn't on the top of everyone's priority list. So, yes, this is what we would like to see. We
Sure.
would like to see them tested and the batteries changed. It doesn't always happen.
Right.
If you're just going about your day-to-day stuff and you see your smoke alarm and you think to yourself, gee, I wonder if that works.
Right.
Maybe it's a good time to test
Test
it.
it.
Or if one of them starts chirping
Mhm.
because the battery needs to be replaced,
Right.
replace all the batteries
Right.
at the same time. So
It is those little things, and I think that's one of the great values, guys, why you're here today is to have the conversation, right? Because so many people, especially this time of year, so today's the last day of November, we're entering into the holiday season, there's a lot going on, people are going to run in lots of different directions, but fire safety doesn't ever go away, right? So we have to, push that conversation out, and I think that's one of the values of the relationship that your folks build with our children, right? Because when the kids are talking about it, if kids are talking about stuff going on in school, they're going to go home and talk about it. So when they talk with their parents about it, it goes back and forth. That reminds us as the adults who take a lot of stuff for granted at times, oh, I need to be purposeful about this.
It's a good point because, we do Read Across America in the schools, and
Right.
when we go to the kindergartens and the first grades, and you're reading to the students, they're engaging with you and they're saying things like they're aware of some of the things that happen in their homes, and
Right.
they ask questions, and these are young children that are learning, and it's a great opportunity to engage with them. In our school programs, we had over 70 engagements last year, and we reached about 6,000 students
That's
with the programs
incredible.
that we do. So
Right.
we are involved with the schools. Last year we started an Adopt a School program,
Right.
and this is the first full school year with that. And the purpose there was to have the local fire stations and firefighters and EMTs get more involved with the schools in their immediate response areas so they can develop a relationship with the principals, the school teachers, and also the kids.
That's fantastic. Because again, it comes down to those relationships, right?
It does.
When we establish relationships, people feel comfortable, the kids feel comfortable. And again, one of the great things about the children that we work with is it doesn't take them too long to feel comfortable with the adults that are there, but they will be expressive and they are thoughtful and they're going to tell us what they're thinking. And there's very rarely a filter that's going to go through and say, well, maybe I shouldn't say this to the fireman. Maybe I shouldn't tell the chief that this is what's going on in my house. They're going to ask, right? So it's important for us, and you guys are doing that to enhance the voices that the children have and for to allow us to hear them to make better change. That's great stuff. So the Adopt a School, I remember last year I was over at Stockton Elementary School, and they did a song and they sang about the heroes, and they had a bunch of your folks lined up, to be able to honor. It's just a great experience.
The kids love us when we go to the schools.
They really do. And you have a number of folks that grew up here in town, right?
We have,
It's not just us that grew up here, but you have your folks that grew up too.
several of our firefighters and EMTs came through Cherry Hill schools.
Right.
They still live here.
Right.
And that's good. It's good community involvement.
Absolutely.
To stay in a community where you grew up.
Absolutely. Good stuff.
To give back.
Guys, what fire safety resources are available to community members, right? So we know that we touch about 6,500 families, with our schools. We keep the messages going through, and you visit the elementary schools, and that, the Adopt a Schools and the programs that you do really touches the kids. There's a lot more families and a lot more folks that live in town, that are not part of the schools. So what other resources are there? If folks have questions, what should they do? Where should they go?
Well, the resource I'm most proud of, and unfortunately it doesn't get as much use by the residents as we would like, is we have free 10-year smoke alarms available to any household in Cherry Hill, regardless of income level. So we'll even come and put them in for you.
Right.
So we need to get the word out.
So Tom, I'll just say that again. So the Cherry Hill Fire Department has 10-year smoke alarms that you can get for free to put in your homes. And if you're concerned about how to do it or where to put them, the folks will actually come out and do it in your home. Right? You'll come out and do that. So how do folks access that?
They can access that and a lot of additional fire safety and general safety information via our website.
Okay.
cherryhillfire.org.
cherryhillfire.org. Excellent. That's awesome.
One of the other things that we also offer is we'll come out and do a courtesy safety inspection in your house.
We'll come out and do a safety inspection in the house.
Just call up, be willing to come out and take care of it for you.
Right.
Help you point out some hazards that you may not be aware of, and try and make your home safe.
I think that's fantastic.
And we're all over social media, Facebook, Twitter, with seasonal fire safety information, links to organizations, product recalls. So
That's awesome. Very good. Guys, is there anything else that you would like to share with the community as you're here today?
Just proud to be able to be your fire chief, and I think we take great pride in delivering a great service to the community. It's a holiday season. Like you said earlier, we're going to be rushing around doing a lot of things with family. Take the extra time. Just think about safety and be careful.
I think that's great. Fire Marshal?
I feel the same way, and I appreciate the opportunity to come and interact with you and the families in Cherry Hill.
Well, guys, I really appreciate you being here. You are always welcome. To come back, whether you come back again or some of the other folks. And I think one of the greatest parts of living here and working here and growing up here is the close-knit community that we truly have. Even as large as Cherry Hill is, the school district, the fire department, the police department, the township, we work together, right? It's one community. I know the impact that your men and women have in our schools. And I also know in my neighborhood the impact that your men and women have had because of fires that have occurred. They put it out there and on a daily basis what they do. So I'm glad that we can be a part of it. Thank you for sharing your expertise with us. And if there are additional questions, we will certainly share them with you, all right?
Thank you.
Take care.
Much.
Chief, thanks for coming in.
Thank
Fire
you.
Marshal, thanks for coming in. It's good to see you guys. I appreciate it. So Chief Colby and Fire Marshal Schmeely with us today, which was very exciting. And you guys don't have to sit here for the rest of it. They have, protecting Cherry Hill is a full-time job, so they're going to head back out. Again, please tell the men and the women that I'm incredibly grateful for what they do, and I look forward to seeing them out there.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Be well.
Have a good day.
So as I said, as we opened the online lunch, today is the last day of November. The last day of November. Tomorrow is December the 1st. So we are now, at this point, 3 months. We've completed 3 full months of the academic year. We're about a third of the way done. Secondary school report cards have been issued. Elementary school report cards are going to be issued soon. And a question to ask is your children, is your child, are they progressing where you expect them to be? Have they made the success that you expect them to have? If they have, that's fantastic. Continue to encourage them, continue to support them. How can they continue to grow? If they have not, if they are not where you think they should be, what can we do to support them? And by we, what can we as the school and you as the families and you at home, what can we do to continue to support them to be incredibly successful? Our goal is that our children are successful on a daily basis. So I have some questions that have come through, and if you have questions as we're here today, again, you can submit them through public information, through our email. You can also submit them if you're watching us on YouTube, directly through YouTube. Mrs. Wilson is here with me today, and Mr. Plavinsky, who's the Assistant Director of Technology, is with me today. He's doing the tech side of where we are. So if you have questions, please submit them. There are a couple of questions that have come through already in anticipation of today's online lunch. So I'm going to go through and address those, and then talk about some very special announcements with where we are. So the first one is, this is the email question that came through. It says, it was great to see the new security improvements that were put in place at the Barkley Early Childhood Center. When can we expect to see the same in the rest of our schools? Right before, 2 weeks ago, we did a ribbon cutting over at Barkley Early Childhood Center with some security enhancements that we've done in that building. Included a brand new vestibule in the front of the building, a secure vestibule for entering the building, included the installation of electronic key access for our staff members, and the installation of cameras both inside and outside. It is our intention to do this in the other 18 schools in the district. It will be included as part of the bond referendum that we do, which the vote will be scheduled for October the 2nd of 2018. We've been having ongoing discussion about work that needs to be done within the district. This is going to be our primary focus as we move forward, is the health, safety, and security of our children. So the security enhancements that we did at Barkley, we used Barkley as our model. We're grateful to Mrs. Rockhill and her staff, to the children and the parents of the Barkley Early Childhood community for putting up with the work that was being done and some shifts that had to take place as school opened, for allowing us to use that school as a model. What we did at Barkley, we intend to do with the other 18 schools. Second question is, I see that the graduation dates and times are set for the middle schools and high schools, and they are. In fact, we started to publicize those yesterday afternoon. The question is, why are the high school graduations held at the Leah Chorus Center? So a couple of pieces. First, for the graduation dates and times, the middle school graduations for Cherry Hill will take place on Monday, June the 18th. Beck's graduation will be at 9:30 a.m. in the DeBart Gym at High School East. Carusi's graduation will be at 10 a.m. on Monday, June 18th, in the Jones Gym at High School West, and Rosa Middle School's graduation will also be on Monday, June 18th at 2:30 p.m. at East in the DeBart Gymnasium. So all three middle schools will have their graduation ceremonies on Monday, June 18th. The high school graduations are scheduled for Tuesday, June 19th. Tuesday, June 19th is our last day of school for this academic year. High School West will graduate at 11 a.m. at the Leah Center at Temple University, and High School East will graduate at 4 p.m. in the Leah Center at Temple University. So the question as to why do we graduate at the Leah Center? So the first time that we held high school graduations at the Leah Center was in June of 2007. And that followed a number of years where high school graduations occurred at the Tweeter Center, which is in Camden. The original decision to move graduation off campus came with the struggle with weather. So historically, the high schools would graduate in the stadium at High School West in the Jonas C. Morris Stadium, as long as the weather was nice. If the weather was inclement, then they would graduate from the gyms, from the Jones Gym at High School West or for the DeBart Gym at High School East. Now the challenge with the gym graduations is that we could only do 2 tickets for each child for their family members to come in. So after a lot of challenges with weather, and honestly, June between 10 o'clock in the morning and 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock at night is one of the worst times of the year to schedule an event outside because of the weather, because of the potential with heat and humidity and thunderstorms that pop up during the time of that year. So originally High School East moved off campus first, and then High School West moved off campus. The challenge with the Tweeter Center was we had great difficulty in locking in the date for the graduations. So a committee met for about the course of a year, from 2005 through 2006, to look at other venues in order to hold the high school graduations. Because of the size of the classes that we graduate and the desire to be able to welcome families to participate and to witness the commencement ceremonies, the Leah Center at Temple was selected, which still allows us to give 10 tickets to every family. It's climate controlled, it's ADA compliant, it's handicap accessible, and honestly, it's a wonderful venue in order for us to hold graduation. We want to have it because of the work that goes into children being successful in high school and to achieving that opportunity to participate in the graduation ceremony. We want it to be a dignified and a very nice event, which is why we hold it at the Leah Center. It's the best that we can possibly do for our children and for our families. I encourage everyone to come out and to see the graduations. It's an incredible place to see a graduation and for us to truly honor the children as they hit that achievement. Another question that came through is that with winter upon us, and while it may not feel like it today or in the next couple of days, winter is going to be upon us. How is the decision made to close or have a delayed opening for inclement weather, for snow or for ice? And then how is that information publicized to the community? So actually on our district website, there's a tab in there about school closing information. And we go through an entire process to make a determination about whether or not we can physically open schools for students and for staff. And again, the safety of our staff and our students is the most important consideration when those decisions are made. So if you look on our website, it'll go through in a great detail about how we make that determination. Ultimately, I do make the decision about whether or not school will have a delayed opening or whether school will be closed. I do not make that decision in isolation. We are involved with the township, with the Office of Emergency Management in Cherry Hill, with our buildings and grounds folks, with the police department, to make an overall determination about is it safe to be able to bring kids into school, and not just to bring them into school, but for the buses to be running, for children to be on bus stops, for kids to be able to walk, to come through. And we publicize that in a number of ways. We use an automatic call system, our robocalls that go through, or Mrs. Wilson, our public information officer, will record a message that will go out and let you know that whether or not school is going to be delayed or whether it's going to be closed. And if nothing goes out, then school starts at regular time. We will not send the robocalls out after 10:30 p.m. or before 5:45 a.m. So if nothing has come through at 10:30 p.m., then nothing will come through until after 5:45 a.m. Again, in deference and respect to families who are sleeping. We'll also post the information on the school websites and on our district website. We'll send out an email to everyone who is registered through our email server. We'll put it on our district app. And again, if you have not downloaded our district app, please visit the Google Play or the iTunes Store, and you can download our app for free. We'll post the information on Twitter. We'll post the information on our district Facebook account. We'll post it on our district Instagram account. It'll be on channel 19, which is the Comcast channel. There is still a district cable channel. We're on channel 24 on Verizon. And then we also send the information to all the news outlets. Now, the news outlets share the information in a variety of ways, either through the crawl on the bottom of the screen or through their own websites as they go through. So we try to publicize the information as quickly as we can and as many ways as we possibly can. But it does take time to make that determination. So hopefully that answers that question. I don't believe that we have any other questions have come through at this point. So I do have a couple. You know what? While we're talking about inclement weather, please make sure the district calendar is also listed online. We do have 4 weather makeup days. So if school is closed prior to one of these days, we will make the day up. The first one is Friday, February 16th, which is the Friday of President's Weekend. If we are closed prior to February 16th will be a makeup day. The next is February 19th, which is the Monday of President's Weekend. If we are closed twice prior to February 16th, we will be open on February 16th and February 19th. The next makeup day is March 16th. And then after March 16th, if we have inclement weather and we need to have an additional day, it will be added on beginning on June 20th, was the day after the last day of school currently. So just for your planning purposes, and again, the inclement weather dates are online. Some exciting things as we go into December. And December, while we are only in school for 3 full weeks in December, is incredibly busy. First, I'm excited because tomorrow night, It's a Wonderful Life opens at High School East. And their performances will take place this weekend and next weekend. And they're also doing the cast and crew that's part of the production team at High School East for It's a Wonderful Life are doing a relief effort. They have a goal, the East Theater Department, of raising $8,000 for relief from the hurricanes. There's information that's online as well as in the Cherry Hill Sun that talks about the relief effort. I encourage you to get out and see It's a Wonderful Life. It promises to be an incredible show. I will be there tomorrow night on December 1st. My next coffee and conversation. So one of the things that we've done this year is schedule additional community meetings. So additional ways for me to be able to interact with the community and receive input about what's good about our schools, what we can work on, and honestly to talk about the bond referendum that we have scheduled for October 2nd of 2018. The next one is this Saturday, December 2nd, and I'm thrilled to welcome folks to Kingston Elementary School between 9 and 10:30 a.m. You don't have to have a child in Kingston. You don't have to live in the Kingston community. All are welcome. Bring your own favorite breakfast beverage that's appropriate for school with you to have conversation. So I look forward to seeing folks this Saturday morning at Kingston Elementary School. Our elementary and middle school conferences take place next week. They're December 4th through December 7th. They're early dismissal days for all 12 of our elementaries and for all 3 of our middle schools. Please make sure you check the school website. If you have not yet registered for a conference, please make sure you take care of that. The All Cherry Hill Chorus concert, the elementary All Cherry Hill Chorus, takes place this coming Monday evening, December 4th at 7 p.m. I have a rare treat because I get to hear the All Cherry Hill choir, the chorus, rehearse every Monday afternoon here at Malvern. It promises to be a great show this Monday evening at 7 p.m. If you have questions, there are also winter concerts at our high schools and at our middle schools and at the elementary schools. Check the school websites for additional information. High School West will be opening A Christmas Carol, the musical, which will open on December 15th, so 2 weeks from tomorrow. I look forward to seeing the show that weekend. Again, I encourage you to come out and to see the show between the 15th and the 17th. We're doing a special character breakfast on December 16th. If you're interested, again, additional information on High School West's website as well as on our district website. For your planning purposes, winter break begins on Saturday, December 23rd and runs through Monday, January the 1st. All of our schools will be closed the week between beginning on Monday, which is December 25th, through Monday, January 2nd. Schools will reopen on Tuesday, January 2nd. As a reminder, Friday, December 22nd is a full day of school. Friday, December 22nd is a full day of school. Again, for your planning purposes. Questions about the artwork, because I always like to be able to talk about it. The artwork that's behind me on the wall today is from our talented students at Rosa Middle School. A couple of weeks back, I had the opportunity to welcome the children and their parents to come in and tell me about their artwork. Again, one of the favorite evenings they get to have every month is to welcome the children from the schools to talk about the artwork that they have prepared. A couple of other important announcements as we get into the winter. Mr. Brow, who's our Director of Athletics, asked me to remind folks that winter sports are beginning very soon. Always one of the big highlights for winter athletics is the annual High School West, High School East swim meet. Swimming is big, as you all know, here in Cherry Hill. So the annual East and West swim meet, boys and girls both combined, is December 14th down at Camden County Tech, and it begins at 7:30 p.m. So again, I encourage you to mark your calendars. If you would like to see it, make sure you show up early. So we're looking forward to winter sports. Another little special thing, Cherry Hill Library. One of my favorite parts of our community is Cherry Hill Library, and it is the heart of our town. So Cherry Hill Library just opened a new genealogy research center in the library. So it's a gift from the Friends of the Cherry Hill Library in honor of the ladies that ran the store that was in the library for so many years. So I encourage you to make time to stop by the Cherry Hill Library and see the Genealogy Research Center. Interesting for all of us to find out the background for our families and where we've come from. Want to thank students from Rosa International Middle School for sending me this painted rock, an interesting conversation piece, a nice little treat for here on the table, and to share kindness and good thoughts. I always like to talk about the books that I'm currently reading, so I have 3 books for you today. This first one that I picked up at the book sale at Cherry Hill Library, Essays by E.B. White. Right? So E.B. White, one of our favorite children's authors, a fascinating piece of essays that he put together. Really enjoying the essays by E.B. White. Back in October, I was in Washington. I had a chance to go down and see our schools who are being honored as National Schools of Character. While I was there, Rodney Walker, who's the author of this book, A New Day One, spoke to the group. So I had a chance to meet Rodney Walker and to purchase his book. I recommend an inspirational story and about what one individual, the difference that somebody can make in a child's life, how to help to correct a path, how to help adjust a path, and how to support children who are struggling to be successful. So A New Day One, Rodney Walker. And I've been going back through Aspire High, or Imagining Tomorrow's School Today. Russ Qualia, Dr. Qualia, and his team who have been working in our district with our high school folks, with our middle school folks. This is a great piece. It really is focused on schools of tomorrow and who we are and what we do as educators, as well as a community. I would encourage any community member to pick up and to read this book, Aspire High, Imagining Tomorrow's Schools Today. So that takes us to the end of our online lunch for November the 30th. Thank you for joining me. I will be enjoying my lunch, and today I didn't put my yogurt out. I do have yogurt in my almonds. You know that I do for each one of my lunches. I did not have that set out today. My regular broccoli and celery. I like to have my little veggies, an apple and a banana, which are pretty traditional. But today, I also have a pomegranate. So I am really excited about my pomegranate. I will not indulge you in terms of slicing and opening and having it here. It's really not a spectator sport to watch eating a pomegranate, but I'm very excited about my pomegranate. No matter what we do, we can keep going through and infusing positive things and cheerful things in our lives. As you enter into this holiday season and on a regular basis, please remember that your words matter. What you say matters. I encourage you to be kind to everyone that you come in contact with. If you see the men and women in the Cherry Hill Fire Department, especially since Chief Colby and Fire Marshal Schmeely were with us, thank those men and women, the EMS and the firefighters who are here. They dedicate their lives to our safety. And I'm incredibly grateful that the gentleman took time to spend time with us today. Make fire safety a priority in your life and make kindness a priority every day. Thanks for spending some time with me.